Hello, everyone. This is Steven. We are back for episode 21. We're really, like Brian mentioned on the last episode, that we're enjoying doing these podcasts. So we're happy to be back for episode 21, and we're gonna have a fun topic for you guys this week. We're gonna try to be a little bit more targeted and really break it down into 7 tips for a healthier home build, is what we're calling it. So these are not going to go super deep into the weeds. We're not going to go down rabbit holes, hopefully, and just kind of keep it high level, just to more so spark ideas for the listeners that want to build a healthier home. So if that's you and you're listening to this episode, be sure to notate each of these 7 points that we talk about. And then within each one, there's a plethora of additional subtopics that we could go into, and we'll mention some. But like I said, this is more so just to open the listeners' eyes and ears to these topics, and then let them go and do some additional research where they see a potential fit for them. So, for instance, we might talk about air quality or smart home products, things like that, there's way more information out online, and maybe a good opportunity for us to do future podcasts there. So, yeah. Anything to add, Brian, before we jump into the episode?
I think that it's important to recognize where the healthy trends are going for custom homes. It is becoming a growing importance in our society and our culture. And if you're building a custom home, I think it's worthwhile to have done some research, depending on your time and your interest level and your budget, of course, to understand, hey, what might I want to include in my home to make it healthier or more livable with healthy materials and mechanicals and things like that we're going to jump into here today. So I would also say that the sky's the limit. So you can put a lot of different things into your home and quickly go over your budget, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's a matter of value and wants versus needs, and what is really important to you. So I think those are the 2 most important things.
Yeah. Yeah, really good points there, and I think you had mentioned it before we started this episode briefly, but you could have a $600,000 home and quickly turn it into a $1.6 million home with smart features and healthy qualities in that home. And to some people, that's worth it. Other people, they may not find the value. So, there is a fine balance. Some of these things are going to provide a lot of health benefits for low dollar. Others are going to provide very low health benefits for very high dollar. So, it's a healthy balance there, no pun intended, but something to keep in mind as we're talking about these topics. So, yeah, let's jump into the first one. And I think this is kind of a doozy, so we'll start here, and it's going to be healthier air quality. I think we saw this a lot with COVID, especially with virus and particles and all kinds of stuff. People want to make sure that the air that they are breathing is healthy. It's not being contaminated by VOCs or volatile organic compounds, even pollution and stuff like that could be drawn in from outside the home, allergens, things like that. So those are all things that we keep in mind as we're building a home, and it's something that we want the homeowners to be aware of as well. So to get into that a little bit more, we'll talk about some of these systems that you can incorporate in your build for that healthier air quality. So one of them is going to be a fresh air ventilator, and we put those in on all of our homes standard. Basically what that does in a quick summary is it brings fresh air in from outside as your HVAC is running. So whether that's your furnace or your air conditioning, it brings it in on the intake side, and it mixes with the air that's coming from your return ducts from your home. It'll treat it through your filters, and then it also treats it through either the AC coils or the heater coils. So you're getting that fresh air pulled into your home, so you're not just getting stagnant air recycled over and over and over again inside your home. That fresh air is important, and it's also important that it's being treated before it comes into your home. So we have a damper. It'll close when your system's not running. When your system is running, the damper opens and it brings it in, like I said, on that intake side, so that it can be treated through your system. Another thing is an air purification system. Now, some people put this on their HVAC unit. That's an easy way to go, and they typically have HEPA filters and other filters sometimes, even UV radiate or UV treatment. And then some people will add these aftermarket in just a plug, and they'll put it in their living room or something like that. So air purification systems are another one. And then, like we mentioned before, low VOC or no VOC products is something to keep in mind as you're building your home. That's the time to be aware of those. Sometimes these new laminate flooring products or even paints, there's some paints now that are going low VOC or no VOCs. Those VOCs are basically, they can be harmful chemicals that are being put off into the air, and then you're breathing those. So products that are made smartly, I guess, in their production have found a way to cut those down. And so you're getting either low or no VOCs when you're buying those kind of products. And then one last one just to note real quick is if you're in an area that you believe you may have high radon, something to test for, but definitely, and that's something you want to catch before you build your home. I think there's tools that you can use or even have a company come out and test for radon on your site. And radon is a harmful gas that comes from the earth and can be just in the area. So you might not see it, of course. You might not even realize that you're breathing it, but it's something to test for if you do believe that there might be radon in the area. So all that stuff is going to contribute to healthier air quality and definitely something to be aware of. And I'm sure we're missing plenty. There's UV lights that people will put in their plenums of their HVAC units. Those are supposed to treat virus particles and other things like that and kill them. So, I mean, like I said, this is a doozy of a first topic, but that's what we'll call number one. So being aware of healthier air quality in your home.
Yep. I think you already said it, but the air purification system is something that you can do aftermarket. In fact, I have it in my living room, thanks to my wife, not to me. But it's amazing actually how much it does clean the air. Because I was, to be honest, I was more of like, oh yeah, this is just some marketing thing. They just want you to buy some widget, and I don't know how much it actually works. But after having it in the living room for quite some time now, and she cleans the filter, it's actually pretty incredible how dirty the air is just in the room before it even gets back through the return air vent and the main AC filter in the house that's built with the house. So several different ways to do the air purification system, but ours, of course, is aftermarket and sits on the floor in the living room. But I've been really impressed.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's surprising when you go to clean those filters in those third-party systems and or aftermarket systems and see the amount of dust and dog hair and other stuff that is being caught by those filters. So really good stuff and a good, point to make that it does do its job for sure.
What's number two,
Yeah,
Steven?
yeah, number two is more natural light. I think this is a big thing, with people spending more time indoors throughout COVID. I think people were way more aware, especially if you're building in some northern states. There may be less light, less natural light, or areas maybe like Seattle or some of those rainier cities that you don't get quite as much natural days of sunlight. You want to try to do as much as you can to bring that natural sunlight into your home, and I think people are realizing that contributes to good health. You get that vitamin D and it can actually make you feel better and less depressed. There's been studies and all kinds of stuff. So easiest way to bring in more natural light to your home is just more windows. Create more windows in your custom home that you're about to build. Allows for more views, it allows for more natural light, and is also a cool aesthetic of the home that a lot of these modern homes are adding entire walls of windows or glass or whatever to the outside. And so, um, something to be aware of for sure. Now, on the flip side of that, I want to mention that if you are bringing all that natural light in, then whenever it gets to nighttime, there's also been studies that people sleep way better if there's not light in the room and you want your room to be as dark as possible. At least I do. I sleep way better whenever there's complete darkness in the room. So blackout shades are becoming a much bigger thing. So something to think about. And what we're seeing with blackout shades too is that a lot of them need powered nowadays. People want to plug those in and not have to charge them and not want them to be on batteries. And so with that in mind, try to place your outlets strategically, maybe in the top corners of your windows so that you have one outlet per window or one outlet per two windows. You can order your electronic shades, those blackout shades that are going to go on your windows so that they can plug in right there and you never have to charge them. So a couple things to think about, but bringing natural light in and then also blocking it out at nighttime.
Yeah, and regarding the windows can get exorbitantly expensive, but there's a lot of technological advances, energy efficiencies, things that are being done around windows today, and I'm sure will continue tomorrow on all different kinds of qualities and just the performance aspects of windows, whether it's related to energy or sunlight or sound as a sound barrier if you live close to a busy road. And so I think just as we talk about the healthy aspects of a home, the window may not be the first thing that comes to mind, but there's a lot of things to consider if you are really trying to thoroughly think through your custom home build and all different aspects and materials that are going to be used. So I know we talk about that, but I just point that out as windows are something else that's worth looking into for your what you may or may not want based off of cost.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good points. Very, very good points there.
Number three.
Yeah. Number three is going to go back to air, but we're actually talking about the outside air. The big thing now with this is we want to make sure that there's low air leakage for your home. So number three is going to be low air leakage. And that is conditioned air inside your home leaking to unconditioned space or outside of your home. Say it's the garage or the attic or even out your front or back doors or around your windows or anywhere that the house is just not sealed up properly. And you're getting that good conditioned, treated air inside your home that you work so hard to make sure it's good and healthy, and it's all leaking outside. And then vice versa too, you're getting outside unconditioned air, maybe polluted air or allergen induced air, all that kind of stuff coming in those air leakage areas and mixing with your good air inside your home. So we focus all of our builds on building as tightly as possible. And I say tightly just with minimal air leakage as possible. And we're able to do that and prove that with a duct blast test and a blower door test. And those are kind of industry standards of every builder is hopefully doing that if they're building within any sort of city limits or jurisdictions and want an energy score. So that duct blast test, just in quick summary, is basically hooking up a machine that pulls a vacuum on your ducts and tests for any leakage. If they're not getting the proper vacuum on your ducts, you have a leak in one of your air ducts or maybe multiple. So that's one test we do, and then we're able to quantify that and put it into numbers. And then the blower door test is just like it sounds. You do the same thing. You hook an apparatus up to either your front door, your garage door, your back door, some exterior door, close up the entire house, make sure all the windows are shut, the attic ladders are shut, any unconditioned spaces are sealed off naturally, the way they would be if you're living in the home. And then you draw a vacuum once again on that system and see how much air leakage is coming into your home once you draw that vacuum. So once again, they can attach a number to that, and you can quantify that into a score. And your house actually gets an air leakage score for your duct blast and your blower door test, and you can determine how energy efficient these home builders are building. Of course, we've seen really, really good success with spray foam insulation. So when you're using spray foam insulation, it seals up all those little cracks and crevices around any of your exterior penetrations. The only other areas for air infiltration would be doors and weather stripping, windows, um, attics, things like that that are allowing air to come in. But when you're using that spray foam, it really does a good job of sealing up the house.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely. We love spray foam. We've used it on every single one of our houses.
we do, yeah, we do. And for some people, it's not the right it's not the right option. And I'll just point that out. You know, other people might want to use rock wool, or for budget, they might want to use fiberglass bats or blown-in cellulose. There's tons of different insulation options, and I think no matter where you're building in the country, it's something that you should do some research on and figure out what's best for your climate and for your budget and for your health. So.
Yep.
Cool. Jumping into the next one, which is going to be number 4 on our list here, is going to be to control humidity and moisture. And that's going to be outside the home. That's also going to be inside the home. Now, I think most people know that moisture and humidity leads to mold and mildew. And mold and mildew have health implications of their own, and something you definitely want to be aware of. So what we do is start from the outside, the shell of all of our homes. We use Zip System or a comparable product. Zip System is a weatherproofing barrier on the outside of your home that makes your almost makes your house waterproof. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant, but it's pretty dang close. It's a good product, and it keeps the moisture out, and it seals up the outside of your home. So that's number 1 that we do. Of course, we've got our exterior veneers on the home as well that help a little bit, but they're not waterproof by any means. Water does penetrate them. You've got to have something behind that that sheds the water again. So even if you're using, which we do, we use stucco a lot, and we'll use a elastomeric paint, which is almost like a pliable latex rubbery kind of paint. Really good for repelling water out, but water still does get back there. And when it does, you got to have that good weather resistant barrier behind there to shed that water once again, and prevent mold and mildew inside your walls. Now, inside the home, you want to be aware of wet areas. So bathrooms is the biggest culprit. Steamy showers or water leakage in your shower walls, your shower floors. You want to control all of your water. That's outside the home and inside the home. And when you lose sight of your water and you lose track of your water, it's bad news. You're talking mold issues most times if it's not corrected in a timely manner. And if it goes for too long, it can cause even, health issues, but also even some structural issues sometimes. There can be decay and other stuff. So definitely something that every builder should have on the forefront when they're building a home is how are they going to control that water and moisture and humidity. There's also dehumidifiers that a lot of people are putting in their HVAC systems. And those dehumidifiers, once again, go on the HVAC unit. And when you've got high humidity levels in your home, that dehumidifier does exactly like it sounds. It draws the humidity out of the air and then pumps that air back through the house, treats it, and does what it needs to. So some cool systems in that sense, but definitely something to be aware of. And bathroom fans. Don't be one of those people that doesn't run their bathroom fan when they're taking a 30-minute long steamy shower or something.
You were reading my mind. I was about to ask you that. The bathroom ventilation, does the fan help with the humidity and getting that out?
It definitely does. And, and another quick note on that is, I mean, this is how building science gets so technical, but even the size of your bathroom, the size of that fan and the CFMs, or the cubic feet per minute that it pumps air out of your bathroom, has to be accounted for as well. Some of these primary bathrooms in primary suites are getting massively big, and you can't just put a standard 100 CFM bath vent in there and expect it to do its job. So got to put more high powered vents in there sometimes, or even double up or triple up or whatever the case is, and get that air flowing as it needs to so that you're not getting high humidity levels inside your bathrooms.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yep. Next topic or next item on the list is going to be water filtration. So this is going to be number 5. Water filtration is a good one to think about. There's water softeners, there's water filter systems, there's UV filters that filter with UV light. There's even ionization filters and other crazy things. I mean, there's more than I even admit. Yeah, so with those reverse osmosis drinking systems for drinking water, it's just one thing to be aware of. There's also alkaline systems that will make your water more, I think, basic or acidic. I don't know, one of those two that's supposed to be better for you. It basically makes the water more alkaline. Those are even some systems that people are putting into houses nowadays. So it comes back to that talk of budget versus value and how much value you see in these kind of these healthier home tips, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot to be had with water filtration and water quality.
Yeah, and there's some basic things that we will do. Uh, of course, with where we build, being in Central Texas, the water is extremely hard. The water coming into your home. So simple things like we'll add a water softener loop, and either we can have our plumber install the water softener of your choice, or you can do it later. But those are things that we're going to do regardless of whether you want it or not, just because it's an option that makes it a lot easier for you to change your mind later, right? So typically there's no challenges there, but that's something very basic. And like Steven mentioned, there's a million other options on the market, and I'm by no means any expert, but I do see that the technology around water filtration and drinking water is changing rapidly.
For sure. And that's a really good point that you added that makes me think about, we are um we're in Central Texas, which means that, we're not even thinking about some of the other areas of the country maybe that need to pull from well water, or some people are even doing rainwater collection, things like that. So if you're not on city drinking water, which that comes with its own things that you need to be aware of, it doesn't really matter what water source you're pulling from, just be aware of how you're treating or filtering that water. So rainwater collections, something that, a lot of people like. Water wells, a lot of times that's comes with its challenges of hard water as well. And then even city water, they treat it, but you want to be aware of what they're treating it with and what they're adding and what they're subtracting from that water and all that kind of stuff. So lots of topics to dive in there, but water is definitely something to be aware of.
Yep.
Cool. Next topic. So number 6 is going to be healthier home building products. Now, this is may sound kind of generic, and for our topic of just healthier home builds, all of these would fall under products, but there are some specific healthier products that, we want to just make the listeners aware of, and then also kind of open up that door for them to do more research. So one of the ones that comes to my mind is that UV light filtration for either your drinking water or your air. They're also using UV lights. I've seen some builders, we haven't done this yet, but some putting them underneath your cabinets that shine down towards your countertops. And that UV light is supposed to sanitize your countertops. So something to think about there if you've got a lot of germs going around or just want those healthy countertops. So that's just one product. I mean, there's plenty of healthy home building products. I mean, we mentioned Zip System that we're using on the outside of your home, or the homes we build. And I mean, even Zip System has their competitors nowadays. There's even wood products. You got to think about those nowadays. What wood you're putting in your home. Is it cedar? Do you have a cedar allergy? All kinds of stuff. So, those healthy home building products can be a lot of different things, but definitely something to be aware of.
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned it. I was thinking that when you look at the finish outs in your home, the paint obviously comes to mind, but also the flooring is a big one, right? So not just the wood, but the carpet, right? How is the carpet
Oh,
made?
good
What are
point.
the VOCs in that if you're going to choose to have carpet? So a lot of different options and thoughts as you start to envision what does your final home look like, or what do you want it to look like? What are the products that you're going to see each and every day, and what are they made of?
Yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up about carpet. I think some people don't want carpet too for the allergens in particular. And I mean, if they have dogs that shed and things like that, it's a lot harder to clean up. So, something to be aware of as you're building a custom home. The last one here, and so topic number 7 in this healthier home building is going to be smart home products. So smart home products have come a very long way, and I think they're going to continue to just advance at hyper speed. So definitely something that we can touch on now, but I mean, shoot, 6 months or a year from now, it's all going to look different too. So one of the cool things that we will mention, though, I mean, is going to be your lighting. So lighting can play a big part in your healthier home. There's different colors and different hues of lighting now, and with more research coming out, they tell you that you should change your phone screen at night so that you're not getting that blue light that interferes with your circadian rhythm and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with your lighting in, say, your bathroom when you're brushing your teeth at night, or your night light next to your bed, or whatever it is. I mean, where you're sleeping and getting ready for bed, all that stuff. We can even incorporate smart lights that eliminate that blue light wave that can affect your circadian rhythm. So that's just one example. I mean, there's smart home products like your fridge. Some of these refrigerators even nowadays are having UV lights in them to clean germs inside your refrigerator, and they can vary their temperatures so that if you have different foods, it's going to keep them at different temperatures. That can contribute to healthier food quality. And then we've even seen some people nowadays that want saunas or cold plunges in their homes. Those are kind of hot topics. Once again, pun intended there, that hot and cold topics that we've seen a lot of. And it's cool stuff. People are customizing these custom homes that they're building and putting so much money and time into, and it's where they're going to live. So, saunas are something that we've seen, and then cold plunges are a new thing. But I mean, just scratching the surface there. I mean, anything else you can think of, Brian, that's smart home products that contribute to a healthier lifestyle?
Like you said, I mean, smart home products are taken off at a rate that's hard to comprehend. But uh, what most people think of with smart home products are the Wi-Fi switches, or the connectivity of the garage door or your front door locks to your phone so that you can remotely control things. But the purpose of this is to consider what are those smart home products that impact your life in a healthy way. And you mentioned some good ones there. I think I can only envision where it's going to go, right? With a smart, you talk about the refrigerator, but I start thinking, okay, how are they going to incorporate a smart microwave into into a home, or even a dishwasher to have other sensors to say, are the dishes clean, or are they not? How do we use less water in our appliances, whether it's dishwashers or washing machines? So we didn't spend much time talking about those, because those are what typically the homeowner buys to put into the home, not integrated into the build of the home. But certainly there's a lot of things, a lot of enhancements and innovation into a lot of the appliances as well. So Stephen, yeah, I mean, again, just scratching the surface, but really just wanted to take the time in this episode to get people thinking more about these products and where they might be going. Nobody can predict the future, but there's certainly going to look different in 6 to 12 months. But how can we help you build a house that's going to be uh, designed for where these smart home products, everything we talked about here, could be going?
For sure. Yep. Yeah, that's I think a good way to put a bow on this episode and wrap it up. Um, and I would challenge our listeners that, what did we forget? I'm sure we forgot things that homeowners or people that are looking to build a custom home have thought about and have researched, and maybe we forgot to touch on it. So if we are, please let us know. We'd love to try to cover it on another episode, and maybe it even opens our eyes to a product that's new and we haven't heard of yet, or something like that. So share it with the community, and we'll be happy to mention it on another podcast if it's something that's worthy of mentioning. And like we like to say on every episode, if our listeners have found value in this episode and enjoy learning more about custom home building from us, if they could please just share this episode with somebody they think it would be beneficial towards, rate us, give a rating on whatever platform you're listening on, and comment or however you can help us out is greatly appreciated as we try to spread the word and give more knowledge to people that want to build a custom home. So thank you guys for taking the time to listen to our episodes. We don't take that for granted, and just want to thank everyone very much for that. So yeah, I think that's it. Brian, you want to sign us off here?
Yep, absolutely. Thanks again for listening. And I echo a lot of what Steven said. So just appreciate our listeners' time. We know it's really valuable.